Hi everyone. Can everyone get settled, please? Take your seats. I'm going to get started here. Thank you all so much for being here today at Aryan's Celebration of Life. I'm Rama Sardar, one of Aryan's childhood friends. Before I get started today, I did want to thank Dipti Maushi and Sandeep Kaka for asking me to MC today's ceremony today. I feel incredibly honored, so thank you so much. And I would also like to again point out that we have a memory book over here, so during breaks, if anyone's interested in contributing to that, please do. And we also have finger food over there, so again, during breaks, please eat something, walk around. So I will just get started. So Aryan and I first met when I was 11 years old, and it was actually at my housewarming party. And little did I know that that first meeting would soon turn into a very, very strong friendship for many years to come. So as you can imagine, Aryan and I basically grew up together here in Cincinnati. And I've seen many sides to him: his awkward phase in middle school, the voice cracks, him becoming a man in high school, seen it all. And I do remember this one time in middle school that he stayed at our house for a few days. He got the bigger room, a king-size bed, a better view overlooking the pond in our backyard, and he always made sure to brag about it. We actually still refer to our guest room as Aryan's room, by the way. I also remember my mom made us fish one night, and we continuously argued about who got the bigger piece of fish, and he convinced me that it was him. I still don't agree, but okay, I'll let him win that one. And Aryan was actually also my prom date, as you can see over here. And I only had one prom because of COVID when I was a junior in high school, so it was really memorable and special for me. I mean, how awesome is it that my best friend was my prom date? Not many people can say that, but I will say that we did have random people come up to us during the dance and ask if we're siblings. So, Indian things, you guys get it. But just look at this amazing picture. I mean, just so beautiful. I mean, Aryan looks great too. Like, he really complimented my dress, I think. Yeah. By now, you might have guessed how much Aryan means to me. I mean, clearly he felt the same way. He followed me all the way to Indiana University. So. What I love about Aryan is how much of an all-rounder he was. He had this amazing sense of humor, and he really knew how to make anyone feel better in any situation. At the same time, he was incredibly passionate about his work and so ambitious. He was hardworking, driven, and he accomplished practically anything that he set his mind to. After stalking Aryan on LinkedIn for many, many years, I can say that he is one of the most talented people that I knew. And he had an internship lined up in New York as only a sophomore in college, so he had all the bragging privileges. Not many of us can say that. By the way, I have also heard from a top secret source that he used to stalk me on social media too, so I'm not the only creep here. But most of all, I love the way Aryan always prioritized his family. Not one day went by when he didn't speak to Dipti Maushi on the phone. The bond between Aryan's family and ours is very deep. I remember going over to his place often, or his family would come to ours, and how much I always looked forward to seeing Aryan. He always knew how to put a smile on my face. I remember one specific day we were very, very deep in conversation, and he said, quote, "Rama, it's kind of weird that we're friends because of our parents, and also because I'm way cooler, smarter, and better looking than you, but I'm glad it happened," end quote. And I can say with all my heart that I'm glad too. Aryan would always tell me how passionate he is about finance and how he wants to be a businessman. He also wanted to be a billionaire. He would also tell me that one day when we're both really, really famous, that I would actually help him become more famous than me by talking about him and interviewing him. Well, here I am. I really love you and miss you, Aryan. We all do. But I can say with confidence that you are in a much better place and with a better view than any of us. Thank you again, everyone, for being here today. We are all incredibly blessed to have been small parts of Aryan's life. We're going to play a video of some memories of Aryan, And we'll continue the ceremony with several very important speakers who want to say a few words about Aryan. And for the speakers, I would appreciate if you could look at the schedule that's laid out on the tables. I will call out groups of speakers and look at the schedule so that you know the order in which you're supposed to speak, and you can come up and hand the mic to each other. Thank you very much again. Now some of Aryan's childhood friends are going to come up and say a few words about him. Gus, do you want to come up here?
Absolutely. First off, I guess I should expose myself as the secret source of that initial information. Sorry, Rama. Aryan was more than just a friend to me. He was honestly my best friend. He always had my back, and I hope he always knew I had his. I love and miss him so much, and I don't think I'll ever stop. Over the past week, I don't think there's been 1 minute that I haven't been thinking of him. But in that reflection, I realized how many lessons he taught me over the years. I prepared a couple of them today, although I'm sure I could have written hundreds. So here goes. Rule number 1, keep your phone charged. Your mom might call. Me and Aryan took a trip to Chicago over the summer. I'm so happy to have gone on that trip with him. So many memories I'll never forget. We went shopping, we went to a Cubs game, we walked around the city for hours. There were several times throughout the trip that we had to stop because his phone was dying. I wasn't really sure of the fascination, but the reason that he told me when we had to stop at the famous Navy Pier was that he was expecting a call from his mom anytime soon. I know that both of our moms were worried on that trip, and I thought it admirable that while we were having so much fun, he was still thinking about other people, especially his mom. So, keep your phone charged. Your mom might call. Rule number 2, keep an open mind. Your best friend might be just a locker away. Me and Aryan first became best friends at E.H. Green Intermediate School in 6th grade. We had lockers right next to each other in the gray wing between the math and science classrooms, and I'm sure it was done by alphabetical order. But nonetheless, I can still remember the place like it was yesterday. Every time I would come into school, we would both recap our nights and head to class for homeroom. What I would give to be a fly on the wall for just 1 minute back then. When we were not in school, we would have sleepovers and play Minecraft until the sun came up. And go to movie premieres for the new superhero movies, Marvel, and even sometimes when the new Star Wars movies came out. So whenever you're in a crowd next time, look around. One of those people might have a profoundly positive impact on your life one day. Who knows? Your best friend might be just a locker away. Rule number 3, never stop, never stop. Aryan had a work ethic that I don't know I've ever seen before. No matter what it was, he would not stop until the job was done. I remember one time in particular, we stopped at Chick-fil-A, our usual spot, to grab some food before we went and ran at the track. We did lap after lap until I noticed that he was getting a little pale. I asked him if he was all right and if he wanted to stop. He gave me a resounding no that I felt was confident enough, and he assured me that he was all right. Not but 50 feet down the track, the Chick-fil-A milkshake that had just been purchased was unfortunately emptied all over the track. This rule takes a little bit of a turn to the top of the Sears Tower in Chicago. We went at night, the lights were beautiful, we were admiring all the penthouses and high-rises, talking about how we would be at the top of them one day, maybe even with one of our names on the buildings. I know Aryan's work ethic, and I know he would not stop until the job was done, and he had a heck of a view on the top of one of those buildings. If you work hard enough and never give up, you can achieve some of the most amazing things, but if it involves a milkshake, I recommend taking at least an hour and a half wait. Thank you. Clint, Ian, and Youssef will be up next.
Hello. I wish we could meet under different circumstances, but I actually met Aryan through Gus. Aryan and I moved to the area in the same year. I lived in Kentucky before, and we moved up. And we sort of knew each other a little bit, but we didn't know each other too well. But Gus and I were very close. We met in 3rd grade, and we became pretty good friends. We didn't have the same last name alphabetical order connection that him and Aryan did, but we both looked kind of weird, so it worked. But Aryan was introduced to me by Gus because he wanted to go see the new Star Wars. And I'm a Star Wars geek. I have Star Wars socks on right now, which is something Aryan would never let me live down. But I don't know. And he drug me to the new Star Wars. I hated it. Aryan did too. But I don't know. Aryan was a great friend. I wasn't as close to him as Gus was, but we were still very close. He helped me through a lot of hard times by just being one of the funniest guys you would ever know. He was so I miss him. He actually helped a lot of us through a lot of hard times by throwing oranges at us at the lunch table in high school. He had impeccable aim, and he took out Yusef's lunch a couple times. How did you feel about that?
Hungry.
Yeah, that lunch table, I was going to tell a little bit of a story about that. First, my name is Ian. I was also Aryan in grade. We all went to Sycamore. I got to know Aryan, I don't even know, it's been a while of how long I've known him. We found a picture the other day, him and Clint and Aryan, cakes mattered all over the face. I think it was my birthday. I don't know, it's all a mess. Someone's birthday. Cake all over their faces. My weird prepubescent face. I don't even know.
We were like 13, 12,
Maybe. Something like that.
maybe.
But this lunch table, kind of the beginning of this whole theme, Aryan was always the funny guy, always the head up. That was actually freshman homecoming.
Oh my God, that looked terrible.
But this lunch table, it was always something different every single day, and Aryan was right there in it. He was definitely one of the main guys. I said we miss him a lot, but he was right there in it, and we all love him. And there was always something new every day. I was always looking forward to that lunch table. That was honestly probably one of the highlights of high school. Not to put down anything else of me or any friends or anything else, but that was a lot of fun. And I had many fond memories of Aryan at that lunch table.
Hi, I'm Yusef. I was kind of in the reverse situation of Gus and Clint, where I met Aryan in the 7th grade. You know, we had just switched to the junior high school. And I didn't have very many friends. And I think Aryan was one of the first, if not the first, people I met in my classes that I truly felt like I wanted to stick around near that guy for the rest of my life and get to know him. And I actually met Clint and Gus primarily through Aryan. You know, he was always the first one to invite me to his house. I remember going to his house, seeing his parents, that they were always so warm and welcoming. And, you know, he was the type of guy who you couldn't have an awkward situation around him. You know, you couldn't feel bad around him, because he'd be the one to come and pick you up in the goofiest ways. Like, you wouldn't even realize you were sad, realize that, you know, even if others were picking on you, he would be the one to come and just totally switch that around. And that's what I loved about him so much. And, you know, we did still have our differences every once in a while. You know, I'd be like, oh no, engineering is way better. And he'd be like, nah, business always. And we just back and forth about it every single time, but, you know, in a poking fun manner, never actually aggressive. And yeah, he, as you can see here, always the life of the party. And that lunch table as well. I'll never forget that lunch table. He still owes me some chicken and rice. You still owe me some chicken and rice, Aryan. But yeah, we miss you, man. I'm sorry I didn't get to speak with you very much this past year. We were both focused on our own paths, and that's understandable, but I really do wish I could have spoken to you more, and I know that you were making the best of your life. And I saw your achievements through social media. I'm thankful for that social media. I saw your achievements, and I was really proud of you, man. I'm sorry I couldn't go on that trip with you and Gus. I couldn't make it. I had work, unfortunately, but yeah, I'm so thankful to have had you in my life. You honestly made my high school experience so much better, and even afterwards, you still lit up parts of my life. Yep, that's it.
I want to ask any of Aryan's teachers to come up and speak about him. Can Mr. Powell come up here, please?
Hello. I think the other Sycamore teacher that would have loved to have been here is Mr. Steedley. And as you can see, some of Aryan's DECA trophies are on board. And that's where Mr. Steedley is. He's down in Orlando with another DECA group. So he would have loved to have been here, but he's doing that. Again, my name is Darius Powell, and I was able to teach Aryan in AP Economics as well as Financial Accounting. And I just loved him. He was great. He sat up front, and he was always in tune, and he always greeted me every morning. Hi, Mr. Powell, how are you doing today? With a smile, and I just loved it, right? It just shows he loved life and loved people. Now, with AP Economics, that was the first year of that course, and Aryan, he helped me teach it because he was into it. He basically commented every day. Like I said, he set up front, stuff like that, and helped me teach the course. And basically, would give me like a notification that, hey, you're doing okay, everything's going all right. So that helped me. One of the biggest things that Aryan did that impressed me is that by the time I met him, I had been teaching at Sycamore for about 4 years. And I had done a few clubs where I was the teacher in charge of the club, and I had some not so great experiences. You know, it started off with a lot of fanfare, then died down. And Aryan came to me and was like, hey, Mr. Powell, I'd like to start an investment club. And I was like, no, I'm not doing the club thing anymore. I'm not doing it. I appreciate it, but I'm not going to do it. I'm going to lay low. And he's very, very dogged and determined. And he came to me like every week. I want to start an investment club. I want you to be a teacher. I'm not going to do it. I don't want to do it. So after about 2 months of this, I was like, okay, Aryan, if you build it, I'll come. And he did. Within a month's time, he had built had a whole bunch of students, probably about 20 different students signed up to be in the investment club. And what was brilliant about how he did it was a cross-section of the school. People, they all were invested in investing, but when I say cross-section, it was all grades. So it wasn't like senior laden or his grade at the time, junior laden. He had like freshmen, sophomore, and some juniors and a few seniors. So what that did, that allowed the club to live on, and it still does. It's still doing. And he put it together, and I was like, okay, he built it, I'm coming. And again, our club is still going on. Have competed in a lot of different investing competitions and things of that nature. So I'll always remember Aryan for that. The only thing I'll say is that he's just a great kid. I remember when he told me he wanted to be an investment banker, Wall Street tycoon type thing, and I thought he was too nice of a guy. I'm like, do you understand what that means? You got to be, tough in here. But I think one of the other speakers earlier said all the things he was accomplishing at Indiana University, he was just basically living the life he wanted to live. And I'm going to miss him. Just like I'm sure all of you guys are. So I definitely I appreciate you letting me speak. He was one of my favorite people. And last time I saw him, spoke so well. I had him speak to my class because he's got a really good way of exciting the crowd and getting people excited about life and business and things of that nature. Again, I will definitely miss him, and I thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. I'm also one of Aryan's friends from high school. My name is Chan, Janakya. I met Aryan in the junior year of my high school because that's when I moved to Ohio, and he was one of the first friends I met here. When I first met Aryan, I was slightly intimidated by him. It was because it was in chess club, and we all know he was scary over the board. I don't think I've ever managed to beat him. It wasn't just that though. He had a personality that would fill up a room and then instantly light it up. There was never a time where he couldn't get a laugh out of me or anybody else he was with. It'd always be some joke that you'd never heard before, and like most of the time, you'd never want to hear that stuff again. I can't help but smile when I think of all the memories I have of him. From the time he baseball pitched a cabbage at me to the first time we cooked together, to the half an hour we spent trying to crack 3 eggs, to the multiple hours of kneading pasta dough because we could just not get the consistency right. A large portion of my memories from high school involve Aryan. He did everything he could to help people. His accomplishments in service speak for themselves, but I'll never forget how he went out of his way to help me. My senior year of high school was not the best time. In a time where it seemed like I had nobody around me, he kept showing up and reminding me that I had people around me, people who wanted to help. The constant FaceTimes with him that lasted for hours, where we talked about college and life after and everything he wanted to do and everything I wanted to do, is something that I'll still cherish. He was the only reason I had a high school graduation party in the first place. So I thank him and his family a little extra for making that possible. He did everything he could to cheer me up during that time, and it wouldn't be a stretch to say that I wouldn't be the person I am today without him. Over the couple of years that I've known him, I've made memories with him that I'll cherish for the rest of my life. He also, rather importantly, helped me set up my LinkedIn. So that's something I know he wants to put out there. Yeah, I just want to say thank you, Aryan, for everything. I miss you, dude. And like you always used to say, the sun will shine on us again.
Hi everyone, my name is Umanch. I met Aryan when I was a sophomore in high school. When I moved to the US with my family a few years ago, and as a sophomore, I had a difficult time socializing with
I had a difficult time socializing with other people. But Aryan was one of the first people that accepted me and genuinely cared about me. I met him one day after school. I was trying to find my way to a club just to connect with people, and I saw him. I met him playing chess with Arvind, and I developed an instant connection with him. He started the investment club at my school, and over the pandemic, he enrolled us in a stock market competition. The pandemic was difficult for us all, but and I would question my purpose in school. This competition, although it was just something small, but along with Aryan's guidance, he helped me break out of the rut that I was in. He helped me discover my passion for business and finance, and he helped me break out of that rut. And without his guidance and this opportunity, I would have never discovered this. Along with this, he also offered me an internship with his digital marketing startup. It was called Step Up Social. Beautiful organization. He
he's always been passionate about helping people. So he had this vision of trying to help small businesses grow their digital marketing campaigns and help them grow and support the communities. He had this initiative where he wanted to offer those services to different nonprofits across Cincinnati, and he offered me an internship position to work with him on that. And I was fortunate to be chosen as one of the people, and I learned so much under him. He taught me so much. When I was conflicted about choosing a college to attend, I remember I went there to visit Indiana, and I just like called him up. I'm like, I'm here. Can you help me with just like show me around? He dropped everything that he was doing, and he spent like 3-4 hours with me and my family to help me truly understand and help me get a good understanding of the university. And basically, he was just trying to sell it to me, and he wanted me to come there. So he was trying his best to make me come there. Unfortunately, I was unable to because they didn't give me scholarship. But I would have loved to attend. I would love to attend with him. In college, I was anxious about how I would go about networking with people and developing myself professionally. It all seemed to be really scary and intimidating. I think of myself as a confident person, but there's still some things that I feel that I was lacking. But he was there with me every step of the way. He always helped me in whatever I was going through, both socially and professionally. Whether that was trying to get over a girl that rejected me or helping me prepare for interviews, he was always there for me. I would remember Aryan for his hardworking, enthusiastic, loving, and extremely supportive nature. He has been and always will be my mentor. Whenever I'm struggling in life, he will always be there with me to give me that final push to keep persevering through and helping others whenever I can. His teachings will always stay with me, and I hope to pass them down to my children so that they too can benefit from his wisdom and guidance. Thank you. I'm fortunate to have been invited to this event. Thank you. Thank you so much, Uncle Aryan. Thank you.
Does anyone from Aryan's school or Aryan's childhood friend want to say a few words? In that case, we'll take a short 5-minute break. Again, feel free to contribute to the memory book or eat something. Thank you. Hi everyone, we'll get started here again. As you all might know, Aryan was very passionate about chess, so we're going to have some people who were involved in chess with him come up here. So can Raj sir please come up here?
Hello everyone. So my name is Raj. I am Aryan sir's chess coach. I have known Aryan sir for over 6 years. Aryan sir. So he was a guru at RK Chess Gurukul. And that is why all the other coaches, the students, we all call him Aryan sir. He's Aryan sir for us. Aryan sir lived a spectacular life. He lived a spectacular life. So I have seen him when back in 2017, he was in 9th grade, very shy kid. In the last 6 years, the way he transformed from being a shy kid to a confident leader and a wonderful coach, it has been spectacular. I share a special relationship with Aryan sir. I call it special because it's not one relationship. It has evolved, it is many relationships. He was a student to me. He was my friend. We shared a teacher-teacher relationship. He was a son to me. As a student, Aryan sir was a perfect student. Obedient, hardworking, talented, motivated, disciplined, focused. He demonstrated a huge hunger for learning in general. a perfect student. A teacher cannot ask for a better student. As a friend, we discussed a lot of things on a variety of topics. Psychology, psychology of children, psychology of people, philosophy, management, time management, self-management, efficiency, productivity. We discussed about how to make use of every single day of life. Maximize the time that we have here on earth. He was a friend to me. He has been coaching at RKHS Gurukul. He has been with our team for the last 3 years. As a teacher-teacher relationship, we both were strongly driven. We were on a mission to share knowledge with the next generation. We shared a common mission. That's our teacher-teacher relationship. He was a son to me. For each other, we shared love, respect, admiration, high energy levels. Both Aryan sir and I, we shared high energy levels. Very, very excited about life, very enthusiastic about life, every single day. He was a son to me. His personality, Aryan sir's personality, embodied his life. His personality embodied his name. Aryan sir's personality embodied his name. Aryan sir's name, A-R-Y-A-N, Aryan. I would like to put forward my view here with all of you, what his name means to me. Aryan sir's A stands for ambitious. I'm sure many of you will agree with me. He was very, very ambitious. And it's everything that he did in life. Be it chess, be it taekwondo, be it academics, the world of finance, very ambitious, very competitive. He started chess when he was in 9th grade, you will not believe. Within 1 year, Aryan sir became the Cincinnati Scholastic Champion. There were other children playing for 7-8 years. Within 1 year, stellar, absolutely. He stunned the chess community. That was his ambitious nature, competitive nature. He did not stop there. He founded a club. He was a president at Sycamore High School. He founded it. He led his team. Every week he was conducting sessions. Within a short period of time, he led his Sycamore High School to be state champions. That was Aryan sir for us. Ambitious. Aryan sir's R. Responsible and respectful. Responsible and respectful. He showed responsibility in every commitment that he did. As a student, he was responsible. He took responsibility for his learning, focus, discipline, working hard. As a chess coach, he was very responsible. He used to join on time, wonderfully conduct the class. Children loved it. For any reason, if he could not make it, he used to inform in advance. Raj sir, for so and so reason, I'm not going to make it for the class. He was responsible. That is his responsibility. He showed responsibility. Respectful. Great virtue. Respectful. Aryan sir could connect with every human being. From a small child to the elderly person, he displayed respect. He was respectful. He engaged. He engaged with his eyes. He engaged with his whole self. Aryan sir met my mother, back in 2017 at an event at my home. I still remember, and my mom fondly remembers, he spoke with my mom for 1 hour. First time he is meeting my mom. For 1 hour. Respectful. Engaged. Aryan sir's why. Aryan sir's why. Youthful energy. Youthful energy. His energy was contagious. Contagious energy. So much of it. Anything, everything that Aryan sir did, he showed extraordinary amount of energy. It was contagious. He spread positive energy to everyone around him. That was Aryan sir. Aryan sir's A, second A. Altruistic attitude. Altruistic attitude. Aryan sir lived to give, not to take. He lived to give, not to take. There are so many examples. I'll share one of them. Back, I think 3 years back, when COVID hit, so at RKHS Gurukul we were discussing about how to connect with our students. So he helped me in developing a website. He started it from scratch, wonderful conversations, and in a short period of time he developed a wonderful website for the academy. What stunned me was what happened next. He said, Raj sir, the chess fees for this website, I would like to donate to the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. I was stunned. 17 years old, only 17 years old. It takes a lifetime to get such an attitude. At 17 years, I don't want it for me. He put his heart and soul in doing that work, and he wants to just give. That is altruistic attitude. That was Aryan sir. At the academy at RKHS Gurukul, he gave, he shared the knowledge and skill that he had with the next generation. He taught over 200 students at the academy. At his school, he used to conduct weekly sessions, getting everyone together, getting his team together. He wanted to give. That is his altruistic attitude, Aryan sir. Aryan sir's N. Aryan sir's N. Noble and nurtured to be a role model. Noble and nurtured to be a role model. Noble. Noble in thoughts, noble in actions. Noble in thoughts, noble in actions. In fact, the meaning of his name Aryan means noble. That is the meaning of his name. Aryan means noble. That is the meaning of his name. He lived to his name. A fitting life, perfect life, fitting life to his name, noble. Nurtured to be a role model. He was nurtured to be a role model. He's a role model to so many children, so many people in the community. Nurtured to be a role model. Now, when I say nurtured to be a role model, it is much more than just his achievements. It's not just his achievements in a variety, in so many things. It's not just that. I would like to share my perspective. Nurtured to be a role model, not just his achievements. He understood and created a beautiful balance of understanding. He understood and created a beautiful balance of imbibing the Indian culture and value system. You could see it in every action. A beautiful balance between understanding his Indian roots, Indian value system, and at the same time he appreciated and understood the American way of loving. Two different worlds, perfect balance he lived. We have seen him. It is not easy. It is not easy to do. And he did it so effortlessly. That was the beauty of it. He did it so effortlessly. Aryan sir. He was nurtured to be a role model, and hats off to Sandeep and Dipti. You are a role model for all the parents and inspiration for all the parents. Aryan sir's departure has left a huge void. I feel it so deeply that the world is no longer the same for me, for many of us. My family is saddened. My wife Vijayta remembers him affectionately. She's shocked, she's disturbed. She had shared her condolences. My 9-year-old son Viraj, he has been inconsolable. We couldn't not share the news. We told him. He was inconsolable. He said, Papa, I loved playing chess with Aryan sir. I have so many memories. I will miss him a lot, Papa. My younger son, 6-year-old Rajiv, we did not tell him. I just asked him about what you think of Aryan sir, and he said that, Papa, I love Aryan sir's classes. It is so much fun. 6-year-old. On behalf of the RKHS Gurukul family, all the coaches at RKHS Gurukul, we will miss him a lot. We are saddened. All the coaches, Divesh sir, Saptagiri sir, Om sir, Darul sir, Ganga sir, all the coaches are going to deeply miss him. We met him every week. We discussed the lesson plan. All the students are going to miss him. All the students, families, their parents, they are going to miss him. Aryan sir, they are going to miss him. We did have an idea that we are going to start an Aryan Vaidya Memorial Chess Tournament in his name, in his honor, in his memory. From next year we will be starting that, so that his memory lives on for a long time. Sandeep and Nittiveni, I am with you now and always. We are with you now and always. He made our life beautiful. It has been honor, privilege to be in his association, to know him. We are going to cherish his memories. We are going to cherish his memories. He is going to be with us forever, in our heart, in our thoughts, in our prayers. Thank you.
Can Dino come up here to say a few words?
I met Aryan when I was captain of the chess team. He was about 2 years younger than me, and I've never met someone who loved chess more than him. He was always trying to play games during lunch or whenever anybody had a chance to play, and I'll never forget how much he wanted to learn everything he could about chess and how quickly he improved and eventually became captain after me. But I think even more importantly than his love for chess was the way that he wanted to share his love for chess with others even more. As everyone today here has said how selfless he was, I think it's seen in the fact that he created the chess club at Sycamore High School so that he could share his love with others and, you know, continue to grow his love and passions to others. And I think that is a testament to how selfless he has always been. I think it's easy to see that he has accomplished so much in his life and is so successful, and I think we're all really lucky to have known him.
Can Colin come up here to say a few words?
So, as you know, my name's Colin, but as Aryan always referred to me, Seppi. I grew close to Aryan. From the start of freshman year in high school, and shared many memories with him. From him laughing at me because of the amount of water I drank when enjoying his mom's pani puri, to those quiet cheers when we were playing chess together. I fondly remember the bus rides to chess matches, sleepovers, and conversations we shared together, never sharing a dull moment. After high school, we always updated each other on the latest chess developments, struggles, and successes in college, and we video called to catch up and plan when we could see each other next. As a person, Aryan always broke the silence with a joke and entertained those around him, lifting their spirits and bringing others closer together. As a chess captain, he always aimed to help the team do its best and have fun enjoying the game that he loved. As my friend, I always admired Aryan's confidence and his constant belief in me, even when I didn't have that belief in myself. Although Aryan cannot be here today, he is always with us in the memories we share and the impact that he had on us. I hope through sharing some of the ways that Aryan has impacted me and the memories I have shared with you all, it will remind you of the ways that Aryan has impacted you, and the memories that you share. If you didn't get the chance to spend time with Aryan, I hope you now see why your friends, loved ones, and those gathered today hold him in such high regard. He was and will always be one of my best friends, and his memories and impact on all of us will never stop shining through.
Can I have Arvind come up to say a few words?
hearing all the memories we had with Aryan at lunch, from what Gus, Yusuf, and Clint was saying. For me, that was my first memory. I moved to Sycamore not knowing anyone. I didn't really have any friends, and I guess my luck that Aryan, and I remember Gus was there too. They invited me over, and at that moment we were sharing. We had many similar interests, especially when it came to chess. As we were deep involved with chess club, I remember Aryan was an absolutely great leader. He shared his interest with everyone at the club, and without him, like, we would not have had a lot of success. I became closer with Aryan, especially in sophomore and junior year, and I always remembered that he was a great speaker, and he was a great listener. And it's through that interest in chess that I became closer with him and Colin. And the best trait that Aryan had was his ability to listen. And I remember, especially when it came to COVID, it was really difficult for me. And I remember all the FaceTime, playing chess with him, and him always listening to what I had to say. And he always knew when there was something going on, when there was some sort of problem. And he was very good at fixing it. And we talked a little less because when it came to us going to college, we went to different colleges, and despite that, we still informed what was going on with our lives. We still talked about any problems that we had in college, and I remember having long FaceTime calls with him for hours till like 2 o'clock at night. I'll always miss him. He holds some important part of my heart. Thank you.
Is there anyone else who wants to come up and say a few words about Aryan? In that case, we'll take another short 5-minute break. Again, please remember the memory books and the food. Oh, okay, just continue, never mind. Does Adam want to come up here to say a few words?
First, I just want to say thank you for the opportunity to come up and say a couple words here. My name is Adam Mullins, and I am Ari's neighbor. So for 2 years over COVID, he came over and worked with us in our small business. And I have 3 kind of key takeaways I wanted to share. First is Ari's infectious smile. I can't even think about it right now without kind of putting my own smile on my face. His energy every time he came over, it was infectious. It was just good and vibrant to have that sort of kind of personality and energy. At 9 o'clock, stand on your doorway and bring it into the household. Funny story, one of those days the doorbell rang and you open up the door and there stands Batman, full costume. And I'm, 1, taken aback, and 2, the first thing he says is, go get the kids. We had 4 kids in the house, all huge Batman fans. And it was one of those examples of the selfless, altruistic approach that Ari kind of took in life, and bringing joy to others and thinking of others first. So that's one memory of always kind of question, who's at my door now? The second very clear thing of working with Aryan is how passionate it was. You heard very quickly his successes in chess, and then you think about, okay, well, he's a chess player, and then you hear about Taekwondo, and you hear about the next thing, you hear the next thing. You're just absolutely just amazed about how much a young man can accomplish in such little time, while also having this incredible vision of what he wanted to do. In addition to the amount of passion, was at the same time he was curious. All the questions and investment banking, what's college like, what should I do? And all while having the same kind of selfless, self-aware perspective of who he wanted to be and who he was becoming. It was just really energizing to be around that sort of person, and I consider myself lucky to be part of his life and him to be part of my life in that very short period of time. I think the last thing is very evident. He was a networker and a community builder. Looking at everybody in this room, hearing all the stories from high school to what we're about to hear at his time at Indiana, it's very clear that he left a very meaningful and impactful relationships across the board with everybody, and that includes people that are here today, like Yusuf. All of a sudden, Yusuf, he was bringing other people into the house to help work with us as well, and he was always thinking about, who can I share this with? And I think that kind of leads me to the last point, is the legacy that he's very, very clearly met. So my wife and I and my family have only lived in the district now for about 4 years, but as we get more involved with the school and the community, I'm always amazed at how many times I can bring up Aryan's name, or somebody brings up Aryan's name. It's always with a sense of pride. Like, oh, you know Aryan. Well, that gets you through the door right there. So that's, again, I appreciate the opportunity to come up and say a few words, and thank you for having me here.
Aryan went to school at Indiana University, and he was in the Kelley School of Business. Like I said before, he wanted to be an investment banker and a billionaire. I'm sure he would have gone on to do that. So I wanted to invite a few people from Aryan's college life to come up here and say some words about him. Can Patty come up first?
Thank you. First of all, I'm very grateful to be able to share a few experiences and memories that we had with Aryan in our office. We did an internship with him this summer before he actually went to the Kelley School of Business. And I will have to share with you, first of all, within seconds of him coming into our office, not only did our age at the office significantly drop from an average perspective, which was wonderful, but I'm wearing this jacket actually, which is a little bit of a joke in our office. Those of you who have seen me or haven't seen me, I wear black. If you go into my closet is black from head to toe. I think it's the culture that I've been raised in the financial world. It's black suits, maybe a navy suit, but mostly black suits. Within a couple days of Aryan being at the office, he's like, Patty, he says, is there a dress code that I need to be aware of, that I maybe need to wear more black? And I'm like, no. I said, that's just me. And one day I happened to be out and I saw this jacket and I thought, you know what, I'm gonna just wear that. And I bought it and I wore it in. He lit up the day that I wore it in. He was like, that looks so great on you. It was like he was shocked that I wore color. So just to share a little bit about the first day that Aryan came in, we had a full schedule planned out for him over the next several months. And to no surprise, in the first couple of hours, he had completed the first week of tasks that we had laid out for him, which was shocking, but not shocking. I mean, he just had such a hunger for everything that he wanted to do. And so we immediately jumped in and I said, well, obviously this schedule probably is going to go by the wayside fairly quickly. So what do you want to do? Like, what do you want to get accomplished in the next several months? What can we actually create for you? And this hunger and drive for just more and more equity research and digging into the industry and wanting to understanding Wall Street and the companies and the why and the why and the why and the why. Soon it made me realize that there was this soul of another child who I had, my own son was always that individual that was, it was never good, like why, deeper, and it was just amazing. And so I told Hunter, I said, you've got to come in and meet Aryan. And even though he was a few years older than him, they were two souls that just extremely connected in an environment that was full of numbers and all kinds of crazy analytics, but connectedly it was funny. I mean, they loved sharing their resumes together. Like, any kind of accomplishment or change within seconds, they were sharing the resumes back and forth and networking, but their kindness and their love, and I just kind of sat back on some days that they were in together, and it just put such comfort in my heart to know that this was our future. Like, these were the young, bright minds that were going to be leading us into new centuries and breaking down barriers, and it was just such a gift to have him with us inside the office. I will never forget, I introduced him to some of our wholesalers, Mac Deegan with First Trust and Frank with AAM, and as the wholesalers would come in and they'd meet him and he'd sit in on meetings and they'd sneak into my office afterwards and they're like, is he just in high school? And I'd be like, I know, right? And they're like, wow, where is he going? And I'm like, Kelly School of Business, and they were all like, oh, we need to talk to him about an internship. And I'm like, get in line, because he'll be in New York. We all know that in some way, shape, or form. So just get in line, because he had such huge dreams. And dreams that I know for a fact will continue to live on and on and on and on. You can hear it with everybody that has spoken today. One thing that I will share that was so cute, we had a lunch to send him off to college, and there was never a doubt in my mind. I always told him, you will be on CNBC. We watch CNBC all the time in our office and have things scrolling, and we would always joke, I'd be like, see, you're going to be sitting right there next to Muhammad and Aryan, and Joe's going to be questioning you, and you're going to have some opinion on something. But the one thing I shared with him is, when you go off, like, that will all be in time. There is no doubt that we're going to be watching you on the screen. But take every moment. Spend every single day that you have, right? Don't let any single second of the moment go by without really soaking in the moment, because life can go so fast. And we talked a lot about life, family, parents. He did so much of this because of the two of you. He loved you so much. And family was his highest priority. We talked about the why. Why New York? You know, why here? Why there? Do you know you're going to be going off? And family, he always knew he had a nucleus here. This would always be the nucleus. Family was the nucleus, but he knew he wanted to go off to do more. So I'd like to end with a poem. We actually have printed this poem. We're framing it. It's going to be hung in the front of the office. We're also going to put one in our conference room, because it was his favorite place to go to listen to presentations. He loved all the wholesalers that came in. It's by Maya Angelou, which is one of my favorite authors, and it's actually a poem that I think beautifully expresses the physical and emotional pain that we can sometimes feel unexpectedly when life is cut short with someone who we love so deeply. But it also, I think, shows in the last verse how over time we take comfort and celebration in the memory in which we exactly are obviously doing today. But there is no doubt in my mind that Aryan's life and memory and legacy will continue to move on and live on forever. We want to be a part. We want to be able to give scholarship to every single year to someone like Aryan that will continue to live on with his legacy. And boys, we're going to New York. I'm going to get you there. We're all going to go, and we're going to ring the bell. I don't know how we're going to get it done. Might take us a while, a couple years, but we are going to stand there and ring either the opening or the closing bell on his behalf. We will get it done one of these years. Trust me. I might need Al's help to write a petition to get us in there, but we're going to get that done. So with that, the poem is called When Great Trees Fall. When great trees fall, rocks on distant hills shudder, lions hunker down in tall grasses, and even elephants lumber after safety. When great trees fall in forest, small things recoil into silence, their senses eroded beyond fear. When great souls die, and our reality bound to them takes leave of us, our souls dependent upon their nurture. When great souls die, after a period, peace blooms. Slowly and always, irregularly, spaces fill with a kind of soothing and electric vibration. Our senses restored to be the same, whisper to us, they existed. They existed. He existed. We can be and be better, for they existed. We all are better because of Ron existed in our lives, and there is no doubt in my mind that his legacy will continue on. Hunter?
Yeah, I think my mom she hit it pretty head on. So yeah, so I'm Patty's son, and I got introduced to Aaron. I believe it was also during COVID. I think he was just graduating high school, or getting ready to graduate high school, and then going to IU in the following fall. We hit it off immediately when we connected. I always constantly remember him picking my brains out about college and business school before he eventually did it himself. I would tell him about all the things I've learned up to that point in time in my career, you know, the mistakes that I made and things I wish I would have done better early on in college so that he wouldn't make those mistakes. And he took that to heart, and he, you know, really viewed me as a mentor, and I'm really glad he felt that way and that I was able to, you know, positively make an impact on his life. And I mean, like yeah, this kid was going places, and he may view me as a mentor, but I also viewed him as a mentor as well. And honestly, my professional career, whatever I decide to do with that, as I'm still trying to figure that out right now, it's not going to just be for me anymore. It's going to be for Aryan. I'm going to miss you, buddy. Yeah, that's all I have to say. But.
Aryan, do you want to come up?
So Aryan and I met second semester of freshman year and did this presentation, which is one of the Kelly classes we all take. And on the second day of class, he sat at my table. Aryan is not a best morning person, and I remember him coming to class always late because the class started at 9:45 a.m. We somehow ended up in the same team for the rest of the semester. Randomly, the professor just put us together. And I know everyone talks about how much of a hard worker he is, always grinding school, tests, everything, but he always flagged off on business presentation. So I always have to do his work, which is pretty annoying. I even worked on his final presentation. No one knows, but I did it. Yeah. And I'm not a natural public speaker, and I remember one time during my midterm presentation, there was a lot less people, but I was still nervous. I tripped and stopped speaking for like a minute or so, but he just sat and looked at me smiling, and that really helped me calm down, and I got to finish my presentation. The funny thing is, me and Aryan both got a really bad grade on that presentation together, so it was a fun memory. It was hard not to fall in love with Aryan. He's the kindest, smartest, hardworking person I know. So we started dating towards the end of that semester. The first thing that he did after we started dating was to fix my Kelly template LinkedIn, so-called, and he like redid my resume, like everything. And yeah. I watched him throughout the following summer, grinding really, really hard for SOF, staying up at 6 a.m. sometimes, writing emails for Ross. I watched him film countless thank you videos that would be sent to a lot of the execs that SOF had in touch with. And during his downtime, he would read Rosenbaum and Pearl, which is this famous investment banking textbook that we use at our school. Sophomore year was just all about banking. Banking, banking, banking. Day and night, he would be thinking and working to land for the golden ticket. He would have around 5 networking chats every day and would always over-prepare. But he never ended up using all those notes because he's a natural speaker. But his ultimate goal was to become a partner of Goldman Sachs, living in New York City in the penthouse with 2 kids. But his true goal was to start his own shop, Vaidya Ventures, and become, the partner of his wife. Yeah. He really likes his name, so he wanted to name it Vaidya Capital. So yeah, I have a lot of fun memories with Aryan. We went out to a lot of restaurants and I'll share many more with everyone. And yeah, I really, really love him, and he has the brightest and the biggest smile.
Before I start, I'm pretty sure I didn't hit this because I'm definitely not prepared for speaking right here, but Aryan was the person who's loved preparing each and every moment of each and everything that he's ever done. But I think my love and respect for Aryan comes out I cannot write this, I have to speak, okay? And Aryan was the first person I met. I think it was April 3rd, I sent him a message on Instagram randomly before I had committed to IU saying, hey, what's happening? Nothing, no sort of, any sort of background. I was just like, hey, what's happening? This guy accepted my message and he's like, hey, I'm chill, what's happening with you? We just started talking about IU, not even committed then, and had a very good conversation. We started talking about banking the first day we actually spoke. This is all over Instagram. 10 days later, he sends me a message, hey, Raghav, have you committed to IU yet? I'm like, you know what, I committed the day after I spoke to you. And he's just little proposal sort of moment, he's like, do you have a roommate yet? And did not have a roommate. Then I was like, hey, I'm looking for one too. And he's like, well, this might seem like a small proposal, but would you like to be my roommate? Ended up being roommates. Spoke every week. We had this time blocked on our Google Meet. We're speaking every day. Spoke to him about random stuff. It was just like, hey, this is what we're going to be doing. We started this entire spreadsheet where we were already talking to people at IU. We're like, hey, we want to get into investment banking. Both of us, we're doing this. Let's talk to each and every person. You help me, I help you. We'll put stuff on that spreadsheet. This is what I've spoken to this person. This is what you can do, and this is how we will go forward with all of this. So I think those little moments are what made me really respect him. We were accountable for each other. We spoke about this, accountability partners. That word, SOF has put a word to that. But we were the people okay, Aryan, I'm going to be doing this, this, and this. I might not want to do it, but just because of the guilt of just because I've told this to him, I have to do it. He did the same. We were both more than friends at that moment. We were brothers. I remember the first time I came to the US. Aryan was the first person I knew. This guy, I just I'm in Indianapolis airport. Uncle drives to the airport, brings me to Bloomington, and we go for lunch. Or we go for dinner. Kind of late lunch, dinner, let's say that. But the first time I met him in person, I did not feel that it was the first time. I knew this guy already. I think a couple of days ago, Uncle put this perfectly. It was a little relationship that we had for those 4 months at least. However long the day must have been, at the end of the night, we'd spend at least 2 hours just talking about life. He called me an old soul, just bouncing ideas off of each other, being like, hey, this is what we're doing, this is the plan. And I really love that kid. He's made me really, I would say this entire passion for life almost, not just passion for certain things. Aryan had a passion for life. He could just go out there and do whatever he wanted. He's been the person who's motivated us to do things. And I'm really grateful for all of it. And something that I was kind of not too sure if I wanted to share with everybody, but one of the last things that Aryan told me was, Rami, I'm so very happy that I accepted that message from you on Instagram 2 years ago. And in front of everybody, I just want to say that I'm so very happy that I sent that message to him in the first place. And thank you for giving the opportunity. I really appreciate it.
So coming to college, I had a different route to follow. Banking was something I did not want to do, and but like I met this guy who knew, like we both lived on the 13th floor across, like, you know, the same hallway, and I kept bumping him. But who knew, like, you know, we would end up being such good friends. But without a doubt, without even any hesitation, like, he has been one of the guys who has got like the most positive change in me throughout like the 2 years, and I'm really grateful. And I just cannot complete this speech today without mentioning the positive changes that he got. And it will not only help me in another 2 years of the college, but throughout my life without a doubt. So some of them was to have a smile, and like just like that smile, like in general taught me so much to live life in such a more positive way. The second one being that I was in a college with a different mindset, but seeing that guy being one of the most accomplished out of like the whole group, I always was like, this man already has so much lined up and he still wants more, and always to strive for better and to never settle. Like that has been one of the key mottos of my life till then, and I always still that like from that moment I was like, I want to add as much as I can on the plate to become a better person and to just broaden my horizons. So in general, that one thing and just being with him changed me so much, and I just cannot be enough grateful. And like one more thing that I am so grateful, like, and I keep saying this to my parents, that what Aryan made is to make me meet these two beautiful, like this beautiful couple. And I'm so sorry, uncle and auntie, but you have worked all of us for like your entire life, and we promise you to never leave. And just thank you so much in general for always being with us.
So Aryan and I lived on the same floor back in Eigenman on the 13th floor, and as a new undergrad coming from high school from Florida, completely different environment, I was looking to make some new friends. And Aryan's room door was completely wide open. He welcomed everybody with open arms, and he was the first person and friend I met at college, at Indiana University. And soon after, we would hang out every single day with all of these guys, and soon year came afterwards. And we always talked with each other. We started coming up with the same classes together. We would study together, and we would just motivate each other. And you know, even sometimes Aryan was so driven by his career that he wanted to pursue on Wall Street that he would sometimes skip his classes, and we would always make it up for him by putting in the attendance codes for him. And you know, not only that, he would always prepare us. We would prepare him, do mock interviews, set up each other for success. And that's the kind of person he was. He always had a smile on his face. He radiated positive energy, and everyone who knows him knows that he gravitates people towards him, and that's the kind of person Aryan is. Aryan's passion for Wall Street never stopped. He was always working, but he also had great work-life balance. He always enjoyed spending time with his friends and his family, and he always kept talking about them all the time. And I remember because when him and Irina started dating, he would always ask me to buy her gifts through the Amazon account because he never wanted her to figure out what he was doing. But she anyways found out regardless. And one thing I just want to say is, I love you, Aryan. You are a great friend, a great person. And Mr. and Mrs. Vaidya, I want to thank you so much for welcoming me into your home and for being such great role models for Aryan. And I know where he gets it from, so thank you very much.
Are there any more college friends who want to speak about Aryan? Okay, I would like Ross to come up and speak about Aryan. They were in Scholars of Finance together, and Ross was Aryan's mentor. So Ross.
Hello, everybody. With a heavy heart, it's a pleasure to meet you today. I'm Ross Overline. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Scholars of Finance. I had the privilege and the honor of spending a lot of quality time with Aryan over the last year and a half or so. Aryan was a student in our organization, Scholars of Finance. He quickly became the president of the Indiana University chapter, rising to leadership, as we've heard many times today was his natural inclination. Early on in his time in Scholars of Finance, Aryan also applied to the National Management Internship Program, actually working on and working for the national team of Scholars of Finance. And among a large number of applicants, as you will not be surprised, Aryan stood out. I was his final interview, and in 20 minutes, I don't want to say it was love at first sight, but it was an intense admiration and intrigue at first sight. I was so struck the first time I met Aryan by his enthusiasm, by his positivity, by his energy, how respectful he was, and how intensely driven he was. And within 20 minutes, I literally stopped and I said, hey, I'll let you know where this is going to go. I'm a strong yes. I think you're fantastic. We'll make sure to bring you on the team. And as you know, Aryan, he just almost exploded with joy and excitement. And over the last year since then, Aryan's worked part-time or full-time for Scholars of Finance. He was part-time during his school years with us, and over the summer he was actually my chief of staff full-time, and worked with me very closely. Over the last year, it was rare that Aryan and I would go more than maybe a day or two without talking, without communicating, outside of our weekly one-on-ones, outside of our regular work meetings. Aryan was very diligent to set up mentorship calls. Whether it was weekly, recently bi-weekly, Aryan and I met on a very regular basis, where he would come every single week or every other week with questions, so many questions. And there was never enough time to get through all of the questions that Aryan had. There were several times where our 30-minute mentorship calls turned into 1 hour, 2 hour conversations. And it was mentorship about everything. It wasn't just mentorship about careers. It was mentorship about how to be a great boyfriend to Urena. I learned a lot about Urena in our mentorship calls. He spoke very highly of you. How to be a great leader of his chapter with Regav and the other members of his chapter. How to properly love and respect his parents, which he didn't need any guidance or mentorship on at all. He spoke so highly of you. And after several days of being with you and honoring Aryan and being in your home with you, I can understand why he spoke so glowingly about you all the time. Yeah, round of applause. We had a lot of conversations about a lot of things. A lot of it was how he was going to become a partner at Goldman Sachs one day. That was one of the primary thrusts of our conversations and our mentorship meetings. A lot of conversations about how to network, how to build relationships, etc. It was interesting because with Aryan, he would always ask for advice on things, and when he was asking you for advice, Patty Scott, I'm sure several of you, the teachers here, can relate to this, Raj sir as well, he would come to you asking for advice for things that you're like, you're already way beyond me in this thing you want advice on. Yeah, I see Raj sir giving a thumbs up. Like, Aryan, you're already like 1 in a million on this particular thing you're seeking wisdom on. If you want my help, here are some things I can recommend. Whatever I can do to be helpful. So I will say Aryan very quickly became one of my closest and dearest mentees. When I heard the news on April 15th, or April 16th when the news came to me, I was devastated because I was intending on spending the rest of my life mentoring Aryan and supporting Aryan and loyally loving him. I think I really came to view him as a younger brother that I just loved and cherished. I'm the youngest of 5, and I was like, finally, I'm not the youngest anymore. I have someone I can pass the wisdom and the insights to, hopefully. There's so much about Aryan to celebrate. I'm so glad that we have a celebration of life. I would say on one hand, it's easy to think about all the things you can celebrate about Aryan. What's hard is trying to select what you will share in 5 to 7 minutes because there is so much. 3 things that I'll share about Aryan that I really appreciate. First, as we've heard many times today, Aryan's infectious enthusiasm, his positivity, his energy, his zeal. It was truly 7 Sigma. He was 1 in 1 million, I believe statistically, in terms of how much energy and enthusiasm and joy he had and exuded. He was a radiant sun in so many of our lives. Over the last several days, and even today, we've heard so many stories about how Aryan cast light into so many of our lives in some of our darkest moments. We heard stories from his friends in high school where Aryan was the first to accept you, the first to embrace you. So I want to first just celebrate Aryan's positivity and enthusiasm. Second, his work ethic, which you've heard about. And what I've learned about today is his leadership and ability to delegate. So, man, I'm learning, I think we're all learning a lot about Aryan today, including Deepti and Sandeep as well. I didn't realize how master of delegator he was. I always wondered how he got so much done and how he accomplished so much. And I'm like, man, is there a 25th hour that he's somehow like uncovered that we're not aware of in a day? And so I think his work ethic was incredibly admirable. He worked so hard. Rasher, I've got to say, you walking through each letter of his name, I was brought to tears listening. The second A, altruism, right? He lived to give. You said ambition and altruism is 2 A's. Yes. It's really interesting because as I reflect on Aryan's life, he's enigmatic. He was enigmatic in the level of ambition that he had with the purity and the benevolence and the desire to do good and make an impact that underpinned it, that was beneath it, right? When you meet people with Aryan's level of ambition, oftentimes there's ego, there's greed, there's selfishness. There's so many dark sides of ambition, and it can be so poisonous to our souls if it's not managed. And Aryan, I thought, set a beautiful example of someone who worked so hard and just was so focused on doing it for others. You know, as much as Aryan talked about wanting to be a billionaire and have the penthouse, we heard more stories about how he wanted to donate to charity, about how he wanted to give back, about how he wanted to mentor the next generation, right? If Aryan were here in 30 years and were a billionaire, I don't think he might be like the founder of the Tata Group, never even becoming a billionaire because he was so philanthropic, giving away his equity, giving away his capital. So I think his work ethic and his altruism, his selfless spirit are what I want to celebrate today. As I've been processing and grieving, reflecting on Aryan's life, I asked myself, what would Aryan say if he were here, right? As much as Aryan came and was so curious and had so much enthusiasm and zeal for mentorship and to learn from all of us, from many of us here, I asked myself, if Aryan were here, what would he say to me? What would he say to us? I think, and if it's not inappropriate, the 4 things that I think he would say. First, I think Aryan, in true Aryan fashion, with the most enormous grin, would thank us for loving him and for supporting him and for all the time that we spent with him, for putting attendance codes in for him when he had to recruit for Wall Street. He would thank us, I think. Second, I think that he would want us to focus on the positives, as Dipti, you said at the ceremony on Friday. He would want us to smile and focus on the positives, to keep moving forward, working hard like he did, like he would. Third, I think he would want us to take care of each other. I think he would want us to make sure that his friends and his family, his deepest loved ones, are taken care of. And lastly, I think that he would want us all to learn. I think he would want all of us to learn and grow as we move forward, as we reflect on his life. And so, for myself, as I sort of tried to meditate on what Aryan would say and sort of heard these things, I reflected on what I learned. What did I learn from Aryan? And how do those learnings translate into lifetime commitments that I will make so that my existence on this planet honors him until my last breath? And I got 3 things. Aryan, while we're out here celebrating you, I want to make a promise to you. Your inspiration is going to live on through us, all of us in this room, forever, as long as we live. And myself, individually, as scholars of finance, we are going to carry on your legacy. And I promise 3 things. Aryan, I promise you that I will try to be a ray of sunshine and of light and of positivity like you were for all of us. Second, I am committed to working tirelessly, harder than I ever have, to make a positive impact on the lives of other people, to try to work as hard as you did. And third, Aryan, I promise you, buddy, I'm going to take care of your family and your loved ones and your friends for as long as I live. I love you, buddy, and we miss you, and we're... You're so kind. We love you, we miss you, and we're excited to honor your life for the rest of our lives. Sandeep, Dipti, I want to thank you for raising such an incredible son. I've said this to you a couple of times, I'll say it again. In a few years, if I'm lucky enough to be a father after I get married in a few months, know that I'm going to be hitting you up for parenting advice. I hope to raise children that come even close to being the men or women that Aryan was, the person that Aryan was. Thank you so much for bringing him into this world. And at Scholars of Finance, as we've discussed, we're going to find ways to honor his life forever. And we'll still discuss what that looks like, how we do that. I'm a big fan of creating the Aryan Vaidya Award for generosity, kindness, and enthusiasm that every April 15th we give to a student in Scholars of Finance. Endowing the scholarship, sounds like a few of us might have to work together on that. Patty Scott, I love the idea of going to the New York Stock Exchange. One of my dear friends is a floor governor of the New York Stock Exchange, and he could get us on like that. So let's work together on it to go ring the bell for Aryan. Absolutely. Aryan, thank you for everything, buddy. We love you, man, and we're going to keep your legacy alive. Dipti, Sandeep, I want to promise you I'll do everything I can alongside you to keep Aryan's legacy alive forever. Thank you again. Thank you for the privilege of being here. Thank you very much.
Now I would like to invite some of Aryan's family friends to come up and speak about him. Vishal uncle, would you like to go first? Oh, okay. Let's take a break instead. Again, I wanted to say please contribute to the memory books and eat something. Thank you again. As you all knew, Aryan was very passionate about Taekwondo, so I would like Master Hamilton to come up and say a few words. He was Aryan's Taekwondo teacher. Oh, she. Sorry.
Good afternoon, my name is Jamie Hamilton, otherwise known to Aryan as Master Hamilton. I know you all thought my husband was coming up here. I started teaching Aryan when he was very young, and so many of you have spoken about how inspirational he is and how talented he is. And he is one in a million. I have taught thousands of students, thousands. And I know you're thinking, she's so young. I've taught thousands. And there are certain people who stand out. Right? You can teach thousands of students and not remember them all. It's not possible. If you've been a teacher, you know that. But I will never forget this young man, ever. And when I got the news that he had passed, it broke me to pieces. Aryan is the inspiration for what we just recently put up in our school. When you walk through our front doors, there's a blank wall. And we put up on the wall, through these doors walk the people who will change the world. And my students asked me, well, why did you put that up there? And I said, because we've already had students who walk through these doors that are changing the world. And I would tell them about Aryan. He was the inspiration for that and he will always be remembered for that in our school. He came through Taekwondo, and I will tell you, he wasn't the most coordinated when he got there. He wasn't. But he worked harder than everyone else. And he practiced harder than everyone else. And he would show up, and he would ask for help more than anyone else. That young man never gave up. And I love that about him. So much so that we asked him to be an instructor at our school. And I have not seen a person walk into a classroom that connects with young children and adults in the way that Aryan did. I think that I can tell you honestly that he was an inspiration to me. I've been teaching since I was 12 years old, and I learned so much from him, just watching him interact with people and inspiring them to do better. And getting to their level and encouraging them, saying, you don't have to be great, you just can't give up. I am so thankful that he was a student at our school. I told his father earlier that I think that he's touched so many lives that we don't even know. Right? So there are students in our school now that remember him and remember him teaching and speaking to them. He hasn't been an instructor there in almost 2 years. And we have students that still talk about him. And I think that his inspiration and his talents and his gifts that he was given as a person will forever touch these lives more than you'll ever know, more than I'll ever know, more than any of us will ever know. And I agree. I will repeat the sentiment that we've heard. This young man changed the world, and he will continue to change the world through his legacy. And I am just so grateful that he got to be a part of my life and my family's life and the lives of my students and the black belts who so fondly remember him. So I just thank you for allowing us to be here today. I've learned so much more about Aryan than I knew. I saw him in Taekwondo class. I knew that he was a great student. He had many classmates around him at our school, and they would tell me how important and amazing he was at school. And I knew he played chess, but I didn't know he played chess. And I didn't know about how amazing of dreams he had. I do know that he came and tried to sell me on his marketing program. He called me up one day, he said, Master Hamilton, I need to sit down with you. And I was, uh-oh, what does he want to do? And he said, I really think that if you really leveraged your business in a different way and use social media and marketing in a different way, by the way, I can help you. Let me bring my business plan for you. I was like, this kid is 17 years old and he's going to change my business. So we just are so thankful for him, and I'm so honored that you have asked me to speak about him and that my husband and I can be here today. And he will be remembered forever at our school. So thank you.
Now I'd like to invite Aryan's family to come say a few words about him.
While walking up here, I was hearing Aryan whispering into my ear. I could hear that, hey Baba, don't mess up. But I think I already have. I wrote this and I forgot my glasses. But yeah, thank you so much. I think in last 1 week, so 1 week back, our family and Siddhant Shah family, our worlds came crashing down on that April 15th Saturday. And it was really difficult. You plan, sometimes in life you think about so many things, you worry about so many smaller things. I was worried about, I was telling my friend when I was in India 2 weeks back, I was worried about I'm losing my hair. And like you always worry about smaller things in life, but look at life in broader perspective, and that's what I think one of the learnings of last 1 week for me personally. Me and Dipti have learned a lot about Aryan, and while a lot of people have been attributing that to us, but wonderful people in the room. And our family friend Rahul Deshmukh was saying that it takes a village to raise a kid. So you actually have a village here, and kudos to all of you. You played wonderful part, and I want to thank you all, but which name should I take, right? There's so many of you who have touched his life and made it beautiful. So bit of a backstory is like when we moved to Cincinnati 10 years back. Aryan came from India, from Indian school system to US school system. First few years were really, really hard. He struggled. But one thing that he told me which stayed with me forever is, Papa, I struggled, but I will make sure that people who are junior to me will not struggle. So that was one thing he always believed in, to give it back. And actually, yeah, that is something we heard today, and really as parents, it is really soothing and comforting, and that's what probably is gonna take us through. It's a very difficult road ahead of us. We fully understand, probably we are not understanding the impact of what we have lost. But I think this is what which will take us through in the rest of our lives. So I think we'll have to work on the purpose. What is the purpose of our life? Like as Indian parents, your child is the center of your universe. And once this kind of impact is there, we'll have to definitely find the purpose in life. And I'm sure we have been interacting with a lot of big mentors, and a lot of ideas have come through. So that is something to follow up on. Most importantly, I want to thank all of you. Many of you were there on the lake with us, trying to find Aryan. We walked miles together along the shoreline searching for Aryan, and many of you were there. So thank you very much. And each day there were almost 20-25 people there on the lake, and they just drove all the way from Cincinnati, different places, and were there side by side along with us, and in that difficult moment. The community also helped significantly. The Indian Association, Indian Temple in Bloomington, they came, they got to know about this tragedy, and they stepped up. And every day we used to get tea, lunch, dinner. They used to hold prayer meets in the temple in the evening. And unfortunately, it's 2.5 years we are going there. We didn't even know there is a temple in Bloomington. But the entire community stepped up, really helped us. So very thankful to them. One more takeaway for me personally is, from this last 1 week is, sometimes in relationships, very close relationships, you really worry about smaller things, and sometimes relationships get strained. But in the bigger scheme of things, in the last 1 week, a lot of broken relationships have been mended, and those were the people, those were the friends. Without a call, they were there with me, standing with me. And some of the friends I haven't spoken for the last 3 years. But they were there on that day, they knew about this, and they were there. So that's a learning personally for me, which I will be taking for the rest of my life, is do not, and probably it's learning for me, is do not fret about smaller things in life. So I think these are some of the thoughts. So, but thank you very much. I think really we are, from the bottom of our hearts, we are really thankful for all the support. And a lot of the initiatives I think we have been discussing with Ross, with you, for taekwondo, chess, but definitely we want to take this legacy ahead and make sure we give back to our community in whole. And in terms of prayers also, when Aryan and Siddhant were missing, the prayers were happening different parts of the world. The prayers were happening in United States, in India, parts of Europe, wherever the community is there. Also prayers happening in local churches, mosques, temples. So it was really beautiful and surreal feeling to see that so much support and love. And thank you for Run for India group as well. Amazing level of support from the community. So thank you so much. We are really touched with all the support.
Baba missed some part. Whatever, yeah, Aryan, yeah, I lost my voice, I lost my word, but I have not lost my strength. The 72 hours that we were looking out for Aryan, I was hoping against hope for a miracle. I was reaching out to each and everybody, just pray, 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 and hoping for it. Thank you for all the prayers and everything, but I think he's in a much, much better place right now, and we are the ones struggling here, because after looking at him, when I saw him on Wednesday, he was at calm, peace. I was not sure how I would face that, but the moment I saw him and I came out, I was like, yeah, he looks calm. He looks really calm. And that's the feeling that I would take it with me. We are shaken totally, but Aryan, I promise I'm not broken. He came here as a very shy kid. Thanks, many, many, many thanks to Sycamore School. I'm really grateful for this transformation. Thanks to the Aunt Taekwondo, chess, his mentors, SOF. The transformation that we have seen in him is immense. And what I'm seeing, listening now is, I think I knew him only a little part. I didn't know the whole of him. In his words, I would say, like he always said that, be proud of yourself. You are one hell of a proud mom. Yeah, I mean, we shared a different relation. He always spoke about unfiltered lingo, right? His favorite quote, or rather, I think in 4th grade, they were asked to write a quote. And it said, I just need that paper. If your mind can conceive it and your heart can believe it, you know you can achieve it. He had seen that on my desk in India in my room, and I never knew that he would remember that. So that was the quote when he had written. He came home and his counselor, I think his English teacher, when we went, she said, I don't know how, but how can a 4th grader write this? So sometimes I feel like we don't have to teach them verbally. They just know, they just see us and they follow that. Our actions are how the kids learn. So that is something. And last year on November 5th, 6th was that, Priya and I met with a very bad car accident. We survived. That was a miracle. I called him, I told him this, and next day I was like little shaken by that. He texted me, you are braver than you believe and you are stronger than you think you see, Mom. Get up, get that car out, go, drive. I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to sit at home just because I met with a car accident. So that's the kind of relationship we shared. He was a voracious reader. We used to read books like The Secret by Rhonda Byrne. I mean, which 12-year-old would sit with a mom and read through? We used to highlight this thing. Then he gave me books like Art of War. Read. And what is it? What did you learn from that? So that is how we communicated.
We learn a lot from the kids actually.
Yeah. So in March, we celebrated our 23 years wedding anniversary. Sandeep was in India, I was just by myself. And he's like, you can get through this, go out, why are you sitting at home? Go celebrate, go to your favorite place, go to City Bird, go eat that burger. I'm like, okay. So I got up, I got dressed, I just went by myself. I ate, I texted. He always has, these kids have, they click a picture and put it. So I clicked a picture of the burger and oh, it looks so good. I ate. So what are you going to buy for yourself? He's like, I got 2 books on Amazon. What books? Atomic Habits, Ikigai. These were the 2 books that he said you should buy for yourself. Okay, fine. We are reading that. So that's the kind of relationship. No, not even one single day went where we did not speak. 11 a.m. either I used to call, 11 p.m. I used to call, or he used to call. If he calls me, he's like, why didn't you call me? I said, just like that. You called, right? So how did you remember calling me? I used to ask. It's on my calendar. So, yeah. He always knew that if my hello would, he could sense it, if everything is okay or not. If it is not okay, then he used to call him. Are you okay? Is everything okay? Did you say something that he used to tell him, don't poke the bear. Okay, make sure you don't poke. Okay. You give her a coffee at 5 p.m. Every day 5 p.m. coffee was something. And we used to call him crappy coffee because if I don't have that 5 p.m. coffee,
my evening would go bad.
Crappy. So he used to text, Baba, make sure she gets her 5 p.m. coffee. Many, many, many things. But yeah, thank you. Thank you for everything. And we are truly humbled by the whole support system we have got in all these days. I don't know from where the food was coming, who was coming, hugs. Yeah, thank you for everything.
I think I'm fortunate in this room to know Sandeep longer period than any one of you in this room. We are friends of 40 years. So since 1983, we have grown up together. I think most of you spoke about last decade of Aryan. For me, things started from their love marriage. And in India, during those times, love marriage was a big thing. And whatever you spoke during last 2 hours about Aryan and Aryan's last decade, I think I can relate most of it because I know both of these guys, what they do, like for us, it's like if Sandeep and Dipti are saying something, for a parentage, they mean it. And before I say something, I want to say first thing, Aryan, I hate you from my heart for beating me. The last word Aryan had with me was, Raja Kaka, I'm going to beat you. And I still remember that last word because I was just talking to Sandeep sometime and then he came in between and said, I'm going to beat you. So, since childhood, from practically, he used to say, why you are doing this and all those discussions which we had. And now today I understand what I was going to speak was completely different than what I'm going to say now. I think it doesn't take a long life to achieve something. It needs to be a thought. And there's a famous Hindi dialogue for most of us in this room who understand Hindi. Babu Mushai, Jindagi badi honi chahiye, lambi nahi. So there's a famous Hindi dialogue which means the life has to be, need not to be a long, it has to be tall. And the reason I'm saying this is, last year when we were together for a couple of days, me and Aryan were talking, and I told him about one story about one very, very senior Indian politician, and we were talking about some mishap happened in my life, and I said like, I want to die, and that guy replied to me, only good die young. And today, after listening to most of you, I truly think he beat me, because only good die young, and I'm still here. So it's from my heart I'm saying this. I was very arrogant till this minute, that yes, I've achieved so many things in life, and I'm sure most of us believe that we achieved so many things in our life. But if 20-year kid can achieve so many things from this corner to right up to that side, and we are talking about so many things, I think he truly beat me, and because of that I'm going to hate you.
So I'm not going to mess it up. So I have written, and I'm just going to read. Yeah, because I'm going to introduce myself. So yeah, don't poke the bear is something that he learned much early, because I have been being experiencing it that all for 40 plus years now. So we know not to poke the bear ever. But yeah, Aryan, I'm going to read what I've written, because I don't want to mess it up. I couldn't gather courage before to be able to know. I kept telling Sandeep and Dipti that no, I cannot come here and I cannot say anything. I cannot. But now, yeah, I'm just going to read what I've written. So over the last few days, we repeatedly walked down the memory lane and picked all the joyous moments with our son Aryan. Each memory has filled our life with hearty laughs and radiant smile of Aryan. Aryan is our eldest son. We are his Mama and Mimi, a name that he coined. For those who don't understand what Mama and Mimi is, we are his uncle and aunt. We will now share a few light moments, because what you have all seen is the one decade. We have seen the full circle, I would say. But yeah, it's pretty interesting, because he also taught us a lot of things. So some light things that he taught us.
Yeah. Hello, I'm Amita and I'm Aryan's aunt. So the first thing that he taught us was how to be future ready. So it really started from how to really change the diapers. Aryan used to be really a child with so much of energy right from the start. He used to just go cycling so fast that it was so difficult to even make him sit in one place or change his diapers. So that made us ready for Aryan, and that was really something that I always remember, being his aunt. That how to be future ready. That's something that he always taught us. Just be ready for everything.
Never wasting energy. Well, now when I look back, Aryan seldom wasted energy on trivial things, such as chewing food. For a very long time in his childhood, we had to pack a blender along with us each time we stepped out of house. You go to a restaurant, you go on a holiday, a blender is what we would pack. Anything that came on the table or served, we had to ask the restaurant, could you please blend this? Our boy doesn't like to chew, he has to gulp it.
Else it will be the milkshake
example. Yeah. Also, eventually when he learned to drive, He never drove himself and always loved being driven around. He would often tell me, Mama, why drive when you could be chauffeur? Poor Kinshuk, he didn't know it was all planned. He was his designated driver. Let's talk about his love for finance. His passion for finance stemmed while he was in high school. When he started high school, he would ask us, we both are we used to be investment bankers. When he started high school, he would often ask us questions. Our conversations involved simplifying for him how financial markets, investment banking products such as, he would go deep as say, what's equity markets, what forex, what derivatives, everything worked. He spoke a lot about retail versus investment bank, and I would often tell him, no engineering, it has to be banking. No. More importantly, we also spoke about lavish lifestyles and the fat bonuses that iBankers enjoy. We are so happy that he stepped pursuing his passion. Well, it was not just us, but his granddads. They both nurtured his love for finance. As they shared their experience of financial markets, he had engaging conversations with both my father as well as Sandeep's father on, how the markets work, how is the ticker going, everything. Alongside his grandfathers, both his grandmoms had tremendous impression on Aryan. And I heard it today about all the selflessness, the kind of, the touching the lives, that all has come from his grandmoms. So thank you. I'm sure nobody in our whole global family would disagree how affectionate and a kid who can tick all the boxes or check all the boxes has Aryan been. Do you want to read?
Aryan was a foodie at heart. Aryan's love for food really started as soon as he started chewing, really. And sorry, are you able to hear me? Sorry. Yeah. Okay, thank you. All he could ask for was the butter chicken and the wala se birde, so it's a curry, and okra. That was his favorite vegetable. We often fooled him for feeding him everything, saying it was a butter chicken, and he never budged. Mimi, I know what a butter chicken is. He loved his pickle and rice, which he used to call as lonchi bhat. And eating out was his favorite thing. Oh my God, you could just see a twinkle in his eyes as soon as he used to read the menu card. And literally he used to order everything, go through the entire menu card and then just order everything that has got chicken in it. And then, try to finish it off as well. So he literally loved his food and variety of chicken really. And with of course, the, as his love for food grew up, he started to love the varieties as well, started to enjoy different types of food, and thanks to you, Reena, introducing him to the different food, and also the vegetables. It was a very hard time for us to feed him vegetables, so thank you.
For me, Dada was like everything. He taught me a lot of things. Any questions I had about like life, from anything about like life and like academics, he was always there to help me, and I'm gonna really miss him for that. I remember last time that we met was in India actually, and like we would go and shop for like fruits. And we would always like check the expiry date for all the fruits, because we thought that if it was coming from India, like it would probably be expired. And yeah, so we did that. And then I remember we had like these songs that we made, and they were just like, they're not even songs, they were just like sounds. And like, I don't know, they didn't make sense to anyone else, but we were just able to connect with them because they just made sense to us. Life was just like good with that.
So Aryan with his radiant smile is with us and will remain forever. Aryan, you are our lucky charm, and it's with you by our side we have achieved so many milestones in our life, and we will continue to achieve that. Thank you, Sandeep. Thank you, Dipti, for being amazing parent. And thank you, everybody.
So probably I'll take 2 more minutes. One subject which is really close to my heart, and this the experiences that we had, our family and Siddhant Shah family at the lake during last 8 days. So while we were we were praying for Aryan, trying to search for Aryan, we also looked at the pontoon facility where this unfortunate incident happened. And when we kind of looked at, I being an engineer, we look at everything by the way of finality, analyzing the data, looking at the process, looking at the mistake proofing, foolproofing that everyone has. So it was the observations where both our family and Siddhant Shah family felt was, this is a recipe for disaster. It's not, I'm not saying in a critical way, but more in a constructive way that we'll have to look at how do we prevent such tragedies, because no family, and you see you are all part of a family, no family has to go through this, and what an amazing potential this young man had, and that's all lost because of that one accident. So that definitely that is one cause we'll be taking as, and me and the family. So I discussed this with the Dean of Indiana University, Dean of Kelly School of Business, the local community. In Bloomington has about 60,000 students there. And on a beautiful sunny day, most of the kids are at Monroe Lake. And with this kind of setup, it is just another incident waiting to happen. And I also happen to look at the data. So this is not so last couple of years, 14 people have lost their lives at Monroe Lake, which is such an unfortunate, and 2 more are getting added to that statistics, is 60 now. And the one thing which broke my heart is when I was talking to Officer Angela Goldman, amazing lady, bless the officer. She was so compassionate and taking care of. It was such a difficult time handling the families and emotions and stress. 3 days, she was 12, 14 hours she was at the lake managing the operations. When time came, when we got Aryan, and the time came to kind of, she said, our ways part from here. One statement that broke my heart, she said, Sandeep, I am on to the next one now. So that tells us that it is pretty recurring this year. So that is one cause definitely we want to kind of take up, and definitely personally, it is my pledge that I will put my 100% effort and take community efforts, and I want to use this platform to kind of make a request for appeal for support, so that we can take up at this cause. No family deserves to go through this. So I think that is something we want to take. Thank you.
Thank you everyone for coming to Aryan's Celebration of Life today. Before I conclude, I would like everyone to think about Siddhant Shah and his family. Please pray for Siddhant and his family and his friends the same way that we have prayed for Aryan, and we wish him the same peace. And I would first like to thank Aryan's parents, his grandparents, his aunt, his uncle, and his cousin Aryan for opening up their hearts today and allowing us to be part of this very special ceremony. So thank you very much. I would also like to thank everyone who spoke about Aryan today and shared the very special memories that they had with him. So thank you for that. Lastly, I want to thank Aryan for impacting all of our lives in such a lasting and positive way. So Thank you, Aryan, for allowing us to share these very special moments with you and for letting us be a part of your beautiful life. And in the grand scheme of things, we will all become memories for our loved ones. And Aryan, you are definitely a very grand and special memory. So thank you again, everyone.
Thank you, Rama.
Thank you, Rama. Thank you so much.
Again, thank you very much being part of our lives, and we continue to kind of interact with you. Thank you very much. And if you want to leave some comments, I think there is a, thank you so much.